Athens was the final stop on the Regent Seven Seas Venice to Athens cruise. Because the cruise line couldn't book my flight out the morning we arrived, they booked me in a hotel for one night, which allowed me a full day to explore the city. I had been to Athens for a couple weeks when I was a teen, so I noticed immediately how much it had changed. The ship docked in the port of Piraeus, and they had a shuttle take me to the Divani Caravel Hotel, which was in the heart of the city. There was quite a bit of traffic, so it took about 90 minutes to get to the hotel. I couldn't check into my room until later, so I got a map and started exploring. The first thing I noticed was that walking in the city was a little difficult. The sidewalks would abruptly end, and cars and dumpsters sometimes blocked your way. This was definitely not the quaint city I remembered as a teen. Eventually, I made it to my first stop, the Panathenaic Stadium, which is the only stadium in the world built entirely of marble. It has a long history, originally built in 144 AD, and has had many uses over the years. In 2014, it was once again used as an Olympic venue when Athens was the host that year. I did not go inside. There was a pretty long line of tourists and tour groups, so I just admired from afar. I then walked over to the National Gardens, which was a recommended visitor's site. I had been to many botanical gardens in numerous cities, so I was expecting something a little more pristine and manicured. However, the sprawling area was more natural and rough. There were plenty of nice areas for sitting and enjoying nature, though, including ponds, fountains, benches, playgrounds, and a small zoo. Here are some of the prettier perspectives of the park. I looked for the Parliament building and found myself out on a plaza where I could look up to the Acropolis in the background and the Zappeoin Hall behind me. The Zappeoin Hall is an historic building that was used for the early Olympics and is now a major landmark in the city. Unfortunately, it was under construction, so all I was able to see was this outer room. I had decided early not to try to visit the Acropolis since I had only one day in the city and had spent considerable time there as a teen. Here are a few pictures I took in 1974 when you were able to run all over the ruins, which you can't do today, and we shouldn't have done back then. I started to look for the Parliament building again, but I heard a band marching down the street, so decided to follow it for a bit. The street contained a bunch of embassies, so I'm not sure what the short parade was about. At that point, I was tired and hungry and decided to go check into my hotel. I have to say I was not too impressed with the city as I had been when I was a teen. The city just seemed dirtier and much more crowded. Admittedly, I had only seen a small area though. Later that evening, I was invited to join a friend and his Greek friend for dinner. I was picked up at the hotel and driven back to Piraeus, where the ship had docked. We had dinner at a small family-run restaurant by the water, and it was spectacular. The local food was amazing, and I had a chance to see a different side of the city. After dinner, I was driven along the marina to see a different side of Athens, a much prettier area with some good-looking bars and restaurants. Once again, learning about a city from a proud local is much more valuable and informative than following the typical tourist route. So if I was going to return to Athens again, I would spend much more time in Piraeus. Oh, and by the way, I finally saw my Parliament building. So that concluded my trip, which began in Slovenia and ended in Athens. If you'd like to see more videos from this Adriatic cruise, please see video links in the description below. And if you'd like to follow more of my senior and solo travel journeys, please click subscribe below. Cheers!